Hi guys, Ron here and welcome to the workshop. Last time around I have showed you what I thought would be my last S-Works Venge, but due to the nature of how things evolved, I had to get another third one of basically the same frame, this time in, well, not a vastly different color, but it's a different one nonetheless. So if you follow me on Instagram, you have already seen this. So just a quick recap. I have pre-ordered the Tarmac SL7 frame set for me right before it was announced. Well, quite a good chunk before it was announced actually, in July when the pre-orders were open. And I was expecting it to come in August, or in early August should I say. That didn't happen, and it didn't happen to this date, and since I already solved the Venge that I had then, I had a bit of a problem, namely because I had to borrow my girlfriend's BMC for the Nationals, which was not very convenient, and yeah, it's just not very nice to have a borrowed bike for important races and to not have your own bike in general. So I had to source a different option, and there are not many, as it turned out. The delivery of the Tarmac frame set is still nowhere to be seen, so I had to dig a little bit, and luckily my contact at Specialized managed to get me an S-Works Venge. Now, yes, I said previously, and I thought it's that way, the Venge is discontinued for most markets, but in some they are still available, although in quite limited quantities. Where I sourced it, there was a grand total of one frame in this size 52 that I require, and as you can see, it's not the standard black raw carbon finish that I had before. It's actually a 2021 model, so it has the same details in the graphics as the Tarmac, also a very similar paint job. Only this one doesn't go to the hues of green, but it's more of a coppery finish. As you can see maybe here, it's not great on this artificial light where I'm filming this video, but I'm going to post a gallery about it later on Instagram. So yeah, exactly the same frame with a different paint job. This one I think is going to be quite rare, so I might hang on to it. Could be a collector's item, maybe a young timer also. But yeah, still very nice bike indeed. Although I made a few, although pretty minor changes to setup, but there are changes nevertheless. So, as I said before, Shimano group set still carried on, the Race Di2, upgraded chain catcher, ceramic speed, everything. I've talked about the problematic cable routing of this type of bike at the front end, and I still didn't fit sprint shifters there. Up until now I didn't find those very necessary, but I have them here, so maybe I change my mind in the future. But yeah, people suggested in the comments on the last video about the Venge a couple of variations and ways how I can fit sprint shifters by leaving the ports free, basically. So yeah, now I have a free port on both levers. The way I've done that, and I thought is going to be the least well, complicated, is that I took a shorter cable to the handlebar, not the 140 centimeter length, but the 120. Still too long, so probably a 100 centimeter or 1 meter cable would be enough. Then JC200 Y splitter, both ends in the levers, the one going into the junction box. Problem with this, it's quite tricky to route, and even though I have wrapped the JC200 in foam, it still rattles. as you can hear now. It's not a major noise, but you can hear it like this, although I didn't notice it really when riding. Yeah, pretty messy. A whole lot of cable goes into the handlebar, so it's you have to just stuff it in there, so not that convenient. The wheel stayed. Yeah, roller repeats. More about this shortly in a full video. And one other thing I wanted to change was the saddle. You see, I have pre-ordered again quite a long time ago a couple of these mirror saddles. Some went straight off to customers, but I kept one for myself, and I put it on my girlfriend's bike, which was a mistake because she says it's the best saddle ever, so that means I'm never going to get it back. Anyway, I have a couple more in the order, but they will not arrive until January, so yeah, until then, no mirror saddle for me. One thing that I was expecting, and yeah, got confirmed, was that this frame is slightly heavier than the raw carbon black version which I had before, and that's understandable because that's the most minimalistic finish you can get. Anyway, it's not more than 30 or 40 grams, and yeah, it's a nice change. And look at this color, not too flashy or anything. I really like it. One thing I also managed to source. Sometimes the hardest things to get are these tiny little details, small items that are just plain annoying because no one seems to stock them. Anyway, I run latex tubes in my wheels. Obviously, that's the best kind of tube you can get in there. And they have valve lengths around 47-51 mil, depending on which one you take. And it's kind of a bummer for most of these mid-depth wheels because most valve extensions are 40-50 mils, and if you add it on there, it's just ridiculously long. So I had to find 20 mil extensions which are just right, and now they look pretty normal as opposed to before. What else? Yeah, still got the direct mount derailleur hanger, which is really neat. You can remove the wheel much more easily, so that's nice. Yeah, rest of the setup pretty much the same. One fun fact about my bikes that has been confirmed this year: I change my bar tape less often than I change my frame. I'm not trying to brag about this, it's just a fun fact that I've noticed. This bar tape has been on the gray/yellow neon bike, then it was on the black bike in both the SRAM and the Shimano iterations, and now it's on this one. So 4:1 bar tape to frame ratio. Yeah. A couple of people asked how to get this neat computer mount for the stem. You don't need to really think hard about that. If you buy a Venge frame or a Tarmac frame, you get it automatically. Otherwise, it's quite hard to source, I have to admit. It seems to be sold out since, well, forever at Specialized, but I have 4 or 5 in stock, which I managed to find in a quirky website on the internet. So I have some, but it's very neat because it fits on the Venge stem, it fits on the new Tarmac stem, and it fits on the future stem, which you can put on the Roubaix or the Diverge. So really large variety, with a large variety of inserts, compatible with, also made by Barfly. Excellent stuff. Yeah, so probably it's now just the sprint shifters to apply. Maybe I will. And yeah, still waiting for the Tarmac frame set. One more thing. Spanish lightweight company for boutique components, Darimo. If you are into high-end cycling stuff, then you know them. They're preparing a seat post for this bike, which is pretty interesting because, while this is not heavy, obviously they can make one which is half the weight, which should be around 100 grams of weight saving, and that would make this bike frame set, depending on how you look at it, comparable to the Tarmac, but with the same aerodynamic properties, or sorry, with better aerodynamic properties at the same weight. So that's an interesting thing that I will explore later on. Also, I have one ordered again, but yeah, to be waited for still. Okay, so that's all about this one for today. If you want to know more about the bikes that I use myself or work on, then don't forget to tune into the channel and subscribe. It's all for today. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.